Waking God's Child YouTube channel. I'm here with my co-host Candy Nelson, and we are coming to you live. Tonight's topic will be wide awake versus third eye blind, and no, not the music either. So, which actually was pretty good music back in the day, but not so much anymore. How are you doing tonight, Candy?
Doing good. I had a good week. Got lots of juicy stuff to share, and
Stuff. You can't wait to hear what's been going on.
the weather's really bad here. So if something happens and I drop, guys, we're gonna do our best to come back on, but we'll see how that goes.
We got this. We're gonna be good. So tonight we will be having those that joined us last week. We're going to be having Mark from the M-Call podcast that joined us. We joined together in marriage somehow with our podcast, and so he will be calling in tonight, and we will be speaking with him some more on some thoughts that he has as well, not just on organs, but on the spiritual aspect of it all. The awakening of it, and also talking and discussing the eyes that are blind, or the third eye blind. So, and I hear a lot of feedback for some reason, Candy. I don't know if it's your speaker. It seems like I'm hearing my voice come through on your speaker.
I hear a little tweaking like in the background, but that's about it. Let me try to turn the volume down a little bit.
Okay, I'm not sure what's going on, but I know I got my microphone on, so it can't be me this time. I don't know.
Yeah, I told you I have a remote.
That's awesome. I think that's really cool.
Well, what he did was, I didn't realize he set up a TV screen on this thing. That's why I got a TV screen hooked to my hard drive.
Oh, that's perfect. That's
so
awesome.
It's got a remote.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was like on my end, what I hear is my voice with you in your grade, so I hear it talking delayed. It's kind of really making me dizzy. I'm just kidding, but I mean I don't know do you have a microphone on yours or no?
Well, I'm sure I do, or I wouldn't be able to talk to you.
And the internal. I didn't know if it was like.
Well, honestly, I'm like techno stupid, so
I'm not very bright at it at all. So techno stupid, I love it. I have to tell my daughter that I'm techno stupid. Okay, give me a break. So that's awesome. I think it might be the speaker, maybe the speakers that I'm hearing. I'm not certain on that, but doesn't really matter. So we're gonna get through this anyway. So what all happened this week? You were going to share something with me. I'm dying to hear.
Okay, so first of all, I wanted you to give the story about the phone call where you called me and you told me about your vision. And then I will give the backstory on the issue with my grandmother and my family. And then I will read the email to you.
Awesome. Okay, will do. So back in the day, earlier on when I met Candy, she had come to Texas and we got to spend some time together. And that was all that I first met her. Didn't know too much about her. We never discussed anything as far as childhood or adulthood or literally anything like that. Just, Morgellons was the discussion. However, a great friendship was made then. And she's just amazing. I don't know who couldn't want to be her friend. So long story short, I don't know about you all, but whenever I became ill at the very beginning with Morgellons, I found myself with gifts or curses, I'm not sure, of certain different things, like maybe knowing things that I shouldn't know or wouldn't have a way of knowing, or envisioning things that would be happening soon or in the future, stuff like that. Yeah, I know it sounds weird. If you guys aren't awake, you're not going to get it. You're going to be like, she cray cray. And I'll be like, okay, Kay. But so long story short, I called Candy one day because I wasn't sure. I don't know if you called me or I called you, or we were, I don't even remember.
You called me.
Yeah, so I was thinking she is going to think I'm off my rocker. But I had this prominent experience, vision, whatever you want, an experience, because it was an interaction almost. It was an interaction.
You thought it was my mother first. You thought it was my mother.
I thought it was Candy's mother. I don't know. It was a very strange occurrence. I saw this woman, beautiful blonde, tiny little thing, blonde hair, kind of bigger hair, feisty as all get out, big smile, happy, happy, red lipstick. Telling me, yeah, you got to take care of my Candy. Candy's a fighter like me. You're with a good girl. But you got to take care of my Candy, and she's a fighter like me. She's strong. She's a fighter. Like she's like me. Like she's just like me. Those words just kept sticking with me, and told me that I was supposed to call her and tell her and get in touch with her. And so I did. Okay, you're not going to believe this. I don't expect you to, but did you have, or was your mom possibly little, or I don't even think I said your mom because I don't
You
think.
did. You said your mom. You did say your
Oh,
mom.
did I? Okay, so I just knew that she was a little. She looked younger, but not like a grandmotherly. But you would have been young. It was why maybe I was confused with that. I just remember she was a teeny little thing, but just feisty, but happy, smiley, jokester, kind of funky, and like a fighter. Like she was like, I got life by the horns, and you're not going to break me. And that's what I see in Candy. But this was real. Like this wasn't just a dream. Like this, I can't explain it. Again, I don't expect anyone to understand. But that is what happened. And Candy was like, "How did right? You were just like, you couldn't have known that." So I'm gonna let you take it from here because, like, you told me, like, how did you know that you couldn't have done that? And it was actually dumbstruck for a second too. We were both dumbstruck, sitting there like, okay, she's gonna hate me or say bye, Felicia, or something. But I was waiting for a response. Oh crap! So
Well, actually, she asked me, she said, was your mother a little tiny blonde that liked to wear red lipstick? And she was like a feisty little thing. I was like,
hey,
no,
Anthony.
wasn't my mother. I was like, sounds to me like you're talking about my grandmother. And she's like, I said, so what's going on? And she said, she told me she's a fighter just like me. She's going to be just fine. And I said, yeah, that's my grandmother. So then I told her about the backstory on it, which back in the 1920s, 1930s, my mom was born in 1935. My grandmother married my grandfather very young. Um, there was a history of generational curses with the men being um, pedophiliacs.
Yeah.
So back at that time, I didn't know this. Obviously, I wasn't alive then, but my mother and my aunt were the two children of my grandmother and my grandfather. Well, my mother was a submissive, passive enabler type of that allowed things to happen and didn't never fight back or stand up for it. My aunt, on the other hand, her younger sister, told me things as I got older that about what my mom used to tell me about my grandmother. Tiny little thing like me. My grandfather was a big man. She said back in the 1930s and the 1940s, my grandmother would like physically jump on my grandfather, which he was 4 times her size, and fight him and bust him in the head with iron frying pans and empty whiskey bottles. And that so many times he slung her like in a ditch and there was broken glass, and my mom would have to crawl down in there and get her out. And so as the years went on, my aunt, my mother's sister, she was full-fledged dyke lesbian gay, but she told me things about, she said she doesn't ever remember anything happening with my grandfather, but she just remembers from a very young age always having resentment for him. And when it's just like, even when I was in my teens, my grandfather would go to Mexico to intentionally for the purpose of having sex with little children for a couple of pesos. It's just a sick, sick family. And he'd come back and he would brag about doing that. And so one night he was there. My mom was at work, and we're in an old house, and we had a propane heater. And I was getting ready to go to bed because I had to go to school the next day. I was in, I think, 10th grade or something. And so he got up and came over to kiss me goodnight. And he started trying to French kiss me. And so I just knew that that was not something I was going for. And there was a propane heater behind me, so I didn't have any escape. So the only thing I could do at that point was ball my fist up, and I punched him in the eye, and I broke his glasses. Well, it was the only thing that saved me that night, because rather than allow him to push himself on me with that propane heater behind me, I punched him because it was fight or flight mode, you know? So I fought him. I fought this big man that was like way bigger than me, way stronger, way older. And he did not take advantage of me that night. And so then, fast forward all these years, I meet Lisa. She tells me about this vision and me being just like my grandmother, and I was a fighter. And I was telling Lisa about what happened after she had passed, and this happened with my grandfather. My grandmother passed back in 1965 or 68, somewhere back in there. So fast forward to, let's see, the late 1970s is when my grandfather tried to French kiss me, and I physically fought him off and kept him from doing that to me. And so then I didn't meet Lisa till 4 or 5 years ago. And so she tells me about this vision that she had. You're talking about decades later. And so I was at a friend's house yesterday that I had been disconnected with for quite a few years, and we just reconnected. We were involved in some political stuff in my neighborhood. Well, my mother passed away back in October of 2009. Now, I had not met Lisa at this point, and so during that time when we were involved in all the political stuff, I sent out an email to a bunch of people at one time that was in the political group, because they had sent food to the house and, offered condolences and everything. And like I said, this was October 21st, 2009. I sent this email out to the whole neighborhood. And my neighbor that I had not been connected with for a while, I went to go visit with her yesterday. And she was a librarian, and she always archived documents. So she had this stack of emails that I had sent years ago, back in 2008 to 2012. And this is the very first email she handed me. And again, it's dated Wednesday, October 21st, 2009. And I just want to read it to everybody, because we're talking about Lisa's vision and the history of what happened to me growing up, and then where we are now. So this email was, like I said, after my mother passed. And it says, I thank each and every one of you for your thoughts, the many blessings of your presence, food, time, and prayers. I am not saddened by her departure. It was a blessing for her to live for 74 years with so many traumas in her life. My grandmother had much trauma also. Her name was Mary. She had blonde hair, natural red lips, and the bluest eyes you've ever seen. I always thought of my grandmother as a yellow rose, which then would make me Rosemary's granddaughter, because of her blonde hair and gentle, fragile nature. The hard times and heartache they both endured their entire lives has made me who I am today. Although there were many issues with my father, I do acknowledge that I look like him in spite of the abuse. My aunts constantly remind me that I am the spitting image of my father, and that is okay. also because it is what it is. So every time I hear this song on the radio, I will always remember who I am and where I came from. Without my mother and my grandmother, I would have not had the strength to overcome so much in life. The traumas they went through were not in vain, because my daughters no longer have to repeat history. I thank God each and every day for allowing me to overcome so that my children will not go through such things in life, or at least in the very least, they will know that they are not normal. Much love to all, and I'm going to be just fine because I know exactly who I am. And then I put the lyrics to the song Who I Am by Jessica Andrews, which the words in the song, now if you get this, it says in here in these words, I know who I am. I knew you would cry, Lisa. I knew you would. It says, I am Rosemary's granddaughter, okay? I was never my mother's daughter because my mother never stood up and fought back. My grandmother did. So the words to this song is, if I live to be 100 and never see the 7 wonders, that'll be all right. If I don't make it to the big leagues, if I never win a Grammy, I'm going to be just fine because I know exactly who I am. I am Rosemary's granddaughter, the spitting image of my father. And when the day is done, my mama's still my biggest fan. Sometimes I'm clueless and I'm clumsy, but I've got friends that love me and they know just where I stand. It's all a part of me and who I am. So when I make a big mistake and when I fall flat on my face, I know I'll be all right. Should my tender heart be broken, I will cry those teardrops knowing I will be just fine because nothing changes who I am. I am Rosemary's granddaughter, the spitting image of my father. And when the day is done, my mama's still my biggest fan. Sometimes I'm clueless and I'm clumsy, but I got friends that love me and they know just where I stand. It's all a part of me and who I am. I'm a saint and I'm a sinner. I'm a loser and I'm a winner. I am steady and unstable. I am young, but I am able. I am Rosemary's granddaughter, the spinning image of my father, and when the day is done, my mama's still my biggest fan. Sometimes I'm clueless and I'm clumsy, but I got friends that love me and they know where I stand. It's all a part of me, and that's who I am. So this was written in October 21st, 2009. So this validates exactly what you said to me that day.
That
And I
was
was like,
amazing.
I know, I knew
That
you
was
would cry.
amazing. That's just beautiful.
I was trying
Um,
to read it to my daughter this morning, and my voice was cracking, and I was shaking, and I was like, "Oh!" I was telling her about your vision, and she said, "I remember you telling me about that." I was like, "Well, listen to this email I just got yesterday. I'd forgotten all about it. Isn't that
wow.
amazing?"
So that was like heart wrenching and painful and beautiful, all in a bundle of love and just honesty. How precious is that?
I told my
I
daughter,
have Mark here with
I
us
think I'm gonna
now.
make copies and frame it and send it to you.
I would love to have that because that just wow, that validated too. I mean, I'm like, I must be crazy. I must be crazy, like everyone was thinking, like, oh my gosh, that's not, you can't do that. Well, my gosh, sometimes we underestimate ourselves. That's all I can say. But I mean, Candy, you underestimated yourself the whole time because you were a fighter from day one, and you should be very proud of yourself. I know I am proud to call you my friend. So, and
I,
what a beautiful
I love that part
tribute.
where it says in there, I know exactly who I am. I'm Rosemary's granddaughter
Yeah,
because it
you
doesn't
are.
say
You
I'm
know, you
my
were like,
mother's. It doesn't say I'm my mother's daughter because my mother never fought back, but my grandmother did.
I thought she was your mom because she was protecting you. She was a protector of you and very very close to you. So I don't know if you heard me, but I have Mark here from the M call. So Mark on the M call, welcome to Making God's Child YouTube channel. How are you this evening?
Oh, great. I really having me on tonight. I just got to say, I don't know if it's Candy's phone, but it's so squeaky, and you're coming loud and clear, but we had that same problem when we had her on the podcast last time. It's very difficult to hear her.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the speaker or what.
Well, like I said, I've got bad weather here tonight. I've got really bad weather tonight.
Yeah, she said she has bad weather there tonight as well.
She took it off her speakerphone and just spoke directly on the phone. It might be a lot better.
Oh, she's on her computer tonight.
Oh, okay. It just sounds really squeaky.
Yeah, like last week it sounded to me a little better,
I
but
cannot hardly make out anything. Just so you know, I don't know. I cannot hardly hear anything.
It's probably because you're calling in, so I'm using my phone and putting it next to the microphone. However, you're having to hear her through the same way as I am through my computer, basically. The speakers there.
Okay.
It might have something to do with it.
I wish I could hear her clearer, but I really can't.
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to turn the volume up, and I am going to get the mic control going on here and see if this helps. All right, Candy, can you speak and see what we got going on here?
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear?
I can hear you a little better.
All right.
Okay. I can turn my volume up too. Hold on.
How are you doing, Candy?
I am doing great. I'm doing great. I don't know if you heard their email I just read to Lisa. I'm like, oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, that was just something else. And Mark, I don't know. I feel doing a little bit earlier on what tonight. We're talking about being wide awake versus third eye blind. And yes, it's a little bit of a stretch there. What we're speaking of, but it's for a reason because we were talking about how isn't it funny or strange or unreal how when we come down with or afflicted with Morgellons, and it's not a disease, whatever you want to call it. I don't even look at it as Morgellons. Of course, we know that name was given by a young woman who had her son looked at and researched, and the coarse hair or whatever it was. This is neither here nor there, but isn't it crazy how with this comes a supernatural spiritual side to it, almost a spiritual awakening / warfare for many.
Because we know the people that don't understand this, even our well can't even fathom all of it because they can't even see it. Their eyes are not open to see this. There's a blindness going on that is so far beyond what we can imagine. It's all the doctors, it's all the medical community, it's the family members. Family you thought was people you could trust, you could tell and confide anything with them, and they're oblivious to what we're dealing with. And I mean, you could show them a sore, a lesion, you could show them the pustules, all the things that are coming out of your body, and they would just say, well, it's just us. Something from their eyes open, and it goes back to scripture. I believe it's in the book of Daniel, but it says that in the last days that men shall be really ignorant. That is where we are. So
yeah, I totally agree. What about you, Candy?
Can you hear me? Because it said you muted my mic.
I did for a moment. That's why I was putting my finger up to you because it took that back. Like I hear like myself echoing. So when I muted you, it like made it clear. So I was trying to hear what you said. For some reason, there is an echo.
I'm going to try to do
Okay. So yeah, Candy. I don't know why, but like right now when I'm speaking, I'm hearing my voice with a half a second delay behind on your end. And then so I tried muting just to see if it was me or you because I muted myself momentarily, and then I muted you. And when I muted myself, it sounded the same with the back voice or whatever on his end. When he was talking, I could hear it over your speaker. So I thought I tried to mute you, and then it cleared up. So it's got to be that end, but I don't know why. I don't know if it's the speakers or what, or maybe I don't know. I am, like you said, I'm tech stupid. I'm tech stupid. So, is that how you said that? That was so funny. And I'm still stuck in the mode right now, thinking of Rosemary's granddaughter, Rosemary's kid. That's just, I mean, I keep tearing up thinking about it. wow. That's just very validating and very surreal and beautiful. That was just amazing.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, it wasn't on your end, there. It's on. I think it's Candy's probably speaker or speakers on her end. There's nothing because her and I are both tech. How did you say that again? Tech stupid or something?
Tech stupid.
So like neither one of us know how to fix that. But I tried when I put like each of us on mute a moment ago to see if there was backlash.
I got an idea to do this. I know she likes to do it on the call, but if she just called in like I did, would that fix the problem?
Well, it would, but I mean, I think that I could actually we could take turns muting and somebody's speaking. So, it happened. It's probably, I think it's always like this. We have people always saying that they can hear that backlash. And I think maybe George can figure it out one of these days when he's got time. I know he's a lot. I think it's the speakers that I'm hearing. Like, does he hook actual speakers up to the computer as well, Candy? Because I'm thinking if he just used the built-in speakers on. No, it's so weird.
Well, there's no speakers attached because, like I said, it's part of a TV screen, you know.
Oh, using a TV screen. Okay, so it used to be a television. They're using it as a. That makes sense. So why that's doing that? Because that has the bigger speakers or internal speakers. I think that makes sense. It makes sense in my mind. I don't know if I am to you guys. So okay. So Mark, I'm gonna go ahead and let you, Candy, and you're gonna see that you're just for a moment. I gotta get that flash out, and then I'm gonna. So, well, I can't mute myself because then you can't hear. So, but I'm gonna do that real quick, and I'll go ahead and have you tell me what your thoughts are as far as your experience with this, and anything strange, supernatural, spiritual that has affected you in some way at all.
Well, you mean since I got more gallons, or
yes? Was it always your whole life, or did everything seem more surreal and intense?
About 6.5 years.
Right.
And I was always awake, though. I knew I've been awake for about 30 years. I was against vaccinations. I was against a lot of things. And I was awake to what they were doing to humanity. I spent a long time in the Air Force, and I knew guys that came down with the Gulf War syndrome in 1991 and 92. And then I later found out years later what actually was going on with that. It was an experimentation. It was the anthrax shot that they were using the servicemen as guinea pigs. And it's just a lot of just weirdness, and the world is getting stranger by the day. We're seeing, in the book of Daniel, it says men's knowledge shall increase.
Yeah.
And we're things are being revealed to us where we're starting to see. But, I also know if you go back in scripture and historically, God pulled his people out of turmoil, and it was always only a few in number. I mean, God told Abraham, if he could find one, he would spare Sodom and Gomorrah, and there could be none that were saved. So it was Lot and his daughters and his wife. And I mean, out of the two cities that were, we can't imagine the size. They could have been millions and millions of people, and then you look at the flood. There was only 7 people on that ark. Right. And God knew the size of the ark and how to build it, because God knew how many people were going to get on that ark, and there wasn't going to be very many. But exactly. God still told Noah to prophesy and to preach and to get people to come to understanding, but nobody wanted to come to it. And then Jesus says, few shall find the straight and narrow path that leads to righteousness, and many shall find the broad path that leads to destruction. And I don't think people realize that as sovereign and fair as God is, he's also a judgmental God. And if you don't follow him, he's got a place for you to go. It's not going to be with him. Yeah. And we're seeing the world right now. It's a very demonic state of affairs. People are being literally transformed into demons right in front of our eyes. I think there's demons walking amongst us. I don't doubt it. I think there's draconian, reptilian shapeshifters that are amongst us, and
You
they pose
betcha.
as people.
Yeah,
I'm
and
sorry.
anyone that says they're biblical or spiritual, but they don't believe, you're not reading your Bible correctly, right? Because
Absolutely, and I think, you know, most churches, they don't want to teach where we're at. They want to talk about next week's potluck dinner and, you know, Sally's confirmation dress. They don't want to talk about where we're at right now. They don't you know, the state that the world is in the absolute sin and complete profile of God, and just the evilness. You know, they're worried about all these things that, you know, they're killing unborn children left and right.
exactly.
So, you know, there's going to be judgment for this, and it's coming. And the first destruction was water. This time it's going to be with fire and brimstone, because we know what Scripture says. This is all going to be burned up, and God has to do it because it's just such an evil place. Absolutely evil.
Babylon fell, and Babylon will fall again. I mean, that's exactly.
Absolutely, and we're seeing. I mean, every day that goes by, and to talk about people that are just such in a disconnect with reality. It seems like they can't even function mentally. You just see this in public. It's not because they're on their phones. It's just like they don't have the capacity to function. It's like they do strange things.
Conditioned and structured and programmed. Totally programmed into the world's ways. And, you know, Satan's the ruler and the leader and the principalities of evil in the air. And we've known this. It's been written, you know, many, many times, not just once. We know this. And I mean, ether, Wi-Fi, 5G whiz, and all the other viral operations that happen. Keep in mind, guys, when your computer gets a virus, right? That's a man-made kind of thing. It's a fluke thing, but a man-made type or an AI type thing that happens. So it's completely different. Anything virus is man-made or Satan-made or technology made by. They're getting the technology somewhere. And I do agree, Mark. How about you, Candy?
Yeah, well, I mean, like they say, you know, they create a virus on the internet so they can sell you the software to correct it. You know, so
Which makes you think
the other viruses, you know, they create a virus so they can give you an injection.
All right. Yeah. So speaking of that, Mark, what are your thoughts too with the recent crown, and then we got or however you say it, and I'm not certain how to pronounce it, but and Candy, you too. What do you guys take away from that? Because I think it's another form of M word.
I couldn't understand what you asked me about the Dr. Carey Day something, and I couldn't.
Yeah, so she spoke of the most recent, I call it the crown virus thing, that we just went through, where we all had to wear muzzles for so long, and keep our distance, and Lord forbid we talk to each other about it, right? Like we're doing now, but we're coding it. She was speaking of this and telling everyone, like, in a very truthful, honest, and severe voice what's going on. And I guess the question is, don't you think that this is like just another notch up or notch on the belt of the same as the Morgellons type deal going on in the bio WEA to the pawn going on? Is that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just so much to that. What are your thoughts in I guess the ancient past and the recent past and the future?
Yeah, well, I'm going to talk. I don't want to change the subject, but there's something that has to do with this, but what we're talking about. But I think there's something that is way more crucial. That is really people need to listen and realize what's going on in this country, and actually, absolutely in the whole entire world. But that is that we are on the brink of World War III.
Yes.
And nobody wants to talk about this, but Germany is sending tanks. Poland is sending tanks. The EU is sending tanks. the United States is sending tanks, and I know for a fact, okay, that this whole thing is a complete false flag operation.
Mark, hold on 1 second, okay? I have to do this for algorithm purposes. Any of you guys that know a channel or That's with More Gallons, you know what I'm doing. This is for entertainment purposes only. This is live role play action on the Waking God Fast YouTube channel. No need for the algorithm to get involved. Okay, Mark, I'm sorry about that. I have been had everything taken down. God, I'm missing so much. They have and they banned me, and I've had strikes, and I've had to take time out like a small child. So
I'm sorry.
No. Please continue now that we know that this is live action role play. So please continue exactly how you are.
Well, I just, I think this is humanity. They put in, I won't use names, but they put the man in charge of the Ukraine. We all know who he is.
Yeah.
And he was a staged puppet. He's a staged puppet. He's an actor. They put him in power. The United States is completely behind this.
They puppeteered all of them, all staged. The whole world is staged, guys. The entire world is staged. Every man and woman and their own That's for real.
And the thing is, the reason I bring this up is because I think it's a serious thing right now. That Putin is not going to sit back and let, he's not a man to take things lightly. And I will tell you right now that he is, what they're doing and what they've done is not innocent of what is really happening. I mean, in other words, you'd have to really be pretty foolish to believe the fake news, to listen to what the rhetoric is that's coming out of it. I mean, Mr. Biden got on stage the other day when he did his fake, and I say fake address, F-A-K-E, union address, stating that we have a wonderful economy and that he has the most jobs produced in 2 years than any other president. And everybody was doing him and laughing because that's about as hilarious as it gets. But there are people that when they listen to this, they will actually believe it and swallow it and agree with that because that's how brainwashed they have become.
And lazy in their thinking, in their ways of thinking. When you say everyone's become very lazy and dependent upon someone else to do the thinking and the decision making.
And it's sad because, and I don't mean to change the mind for the call here. I just want to state that if there's a nuclear annihilation, we don't have to worry about anything anymore because we're not going to be around. Yeah. And there's people out there that talk about, we'll never do it, it's not going to happen. Well, let me tell you something. Most certainly can and probably will.
And has.
And if you, well, so one country, but I'm not talking about an entire world annihilation.
Right.
Most people don't know that Russia has what's called a hypersonic missile. I believe it travels at 9,000 miles an hour. You cannot stop it. There's nothing we have that can stop it. And a lot of power. We have intentionally dismantled our military. We dismantled our arms. We've done this on purpose. We've dismantled our financial infrastructure. This is all been done by design. We are slaves to China's economy. We are no longer a powerful, independent nation.
It's a world economy. It's one world order.
In the military, we've got transgenders and trans.
Yes.
They don't know what they are. They can't break the fingernail, but they're going to go out our borders. It's an absolute joke. And it's a atrocity, and we're the laughing stock of the world. The once powerful United States of America is the laughing stock of the world because we don't have a military. And they have dismantled and disarmed our own presidents. It doesn't matter if you're on the right or you're on the left, they're all guilty of it.
Right.
They've all done this. It's all been done over the last few decades, and it's just the dismantling of this country as we know it. And it's not going to be around longer if Americans don't wake up. And I say, we have a timeline, but God gives us a certain amount of time. But that doesn't mean we can't maybe delay the stay of execution. God will give us time to save more souls, but if things go the way they're going right now, we're not going to be on much longer. And I think you have to be pretty blind not to see what's going on.
I heard that one. It never ceases to amaze me how they conveniently, it seems like the convenience of closing one's eyes, or just, again, the laziness of not my problem, don't have to think about it, that's why we got a government, like the dependency of the one that people have really invested their entire lives into, depending on somebody that's very undependable. And I'm sorry, but I think our own leaders, they're at the helm of most of this. And I think this is all a big puppet show to some respect. And I think they're all in cahoots, just trying to keep us confused and dizzy and looking in every other direction but the correct one and the real one, which is we are approaching very much the real near end. It's so blatant in people's faces, and for them to be unaware and oblivious is mind-boggling, to say the least. So,
absolutely.
Candy, what do you think about that?
Stage, and it's all I don't know about Putin. I know the rest of the world is in cahoots. The UN, the EU.
So,
but you notice how Putin's out by himself. I'm not making terms.
That is true. That is true.
But I'm just saying it's kind of interesting. But
they do play that too.
Good cop scenario. They have it all the time.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. That's what it feels like to me, because it's like every time our backs are turned and focusing elsewhere or on the one guy is playing bad cop, per se. Isn't it funny how, ironically, everything happens right behind our backs? Like big things are happening and we miss it. We just blinked, we missed it. And that goes back to the 9 digit, 1 digit, and then the other following 1 digit. Things such as that just your backs are turned and then bam, in your face moment. And predictive programming, they tell us, they warn us, and even this Putin, who is just a Putin, I think he's a player. The men and women here, merely players.
He absolutely is, but it's like good cop, bad guy.
It is.
Bad guy. It was the same thing with Trump and Obama. You got to have two far sides. It's like two sides of the same. It's two different sides of the same coin. Basically, what it is.
Well, this coin shouldn't even exist, because that was just. Who are they to tell us? I look back, even our history of life, our geological, geographical portions of our lives. I can't even think of one truthful moment I've had. And my daddy was an Air Force man also, but unlike you, he refuses to see any of this as being, like anyone's fault other than just overseas, elsewhere. And I wish people could remove themselves and put themselves out of that mindset, and they get the blinders off and look around. Look what you just recently went through, people. Look what you're going through. Look at the people around you and notice how they've changed. And nobody seems to be capable of doing that. So, Mike, next question to you, and Candy, you probably might agree with me. I suppose there might be a type of an operating system already in a biological, synthetic, biological manner living in people. What do you guys think?
Oh, absolutely.
Andy, what's your take on that too?
And like I told you, it's like that one night I was down on the floor on my hands and knees begging God. I'm like,
turn your volume
up. It's up. It's all the way up.
That's weird.
Yeah, you muted me.
No, I didn't.
No, you're not muted.
Now you're muted, but now you're not. No, you're not muted.
Well, like I said, I was telling you about the one night I'm down on my floor on my hands and knees begging God, if you're done with me, take me. And my husband and my daughter's just watching TV like nothing's even happening. And I'm like, I am like being electrocuted to the point where my whole body's trembling, and they're like just like watching TV.
Yeah,
I'm like
nothing happened.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't
know why I can't hear you.
But then when I stopped and went from hysterically freaking out and all of a sudden realized I was crying, and then I started laughing because I was crying for the first time in 10 years. They're looking at me like, okay, she just went from down on her floor begging God to take her to crying to laughing. She's really messed up. What the hell is wrong with her? And then just went back to watching TV like nothing was even happening. I'm
Nothing
like,
happened. Yeah, exactly.
oh, crazy. That was crazy.
So, and what's your take on that, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, agreed.
Isn't that crazy that someone would have to go through that?
I think that using the to brainwash people.
You betcha.
And we're loaded with enough right now that the people are certain people are just are like
Yes. 100%. And that goes back to the factor of so many of us that have the one thing in common, which is in fact how we're treated by doctors or our family members. And I know I say this over and over and over, and I'm not going to stop saying it over and over and over, because eventually it's going to click with people that this is no coincidence. It's no coincidence. Something, and in my opinion, an operating system is most certainly. I mean, let's put it like this. We're not the only ones that have Morgellons or what's in us, right? Because we all know this is coming from above. It's coming from below. It's in the food. It's in the water. It's in the air. Drink water. There's no way on God's earth. This is not inside everybody. The difference is this was meant to mesh the human body. Am I correct? And what's happened is anyone that's ever got a piercing or something that's foreign object, a splinter, your body pushes this stuff out naturally. It's not supposed to be. Your body knows it. You're equipped to know that. Well, they developed something that's supposed to mesh and blend with the human genetics. So, in my opinion, and again, it's my opinion, I think it's a worthy one. We are spitting the nonsense out. I know a lot of people say, it's sickly, got a weak immune system. I'll be like, no, because here's why. I didn't. I was a very healthy individual. I was more healthy than anyone I know, especially for my age. And I got this. My body knew it shouldn't be there. And I've always known it was rejecting it. I've always known that and felt it. And it was like a download, a spiritual download. That's the only thing I can say. And I do believe that, we can see immunity. Yeah, you can get it too. But I don't think it has to do with that. I think it was designed, and they've said it was designed to mesh with the human form. It was. It's supposed to be a component, and Harl Gasvella will tell the same exact thing. But some of our bodies aren't cooperating. But everyone around, they're cooperating just fine because they have become one little, dependent intelligence on an intelligence, or there is an operating system. I'm just going to say it. There's something making their minds not think right anymore. And, and they're like looking at us like, they're crazy. They're seeing aliens, UFOs, there's an orb, there's that. And I'm here to tell you, yes. But that's not the reason. By the way, your government just recently came out and told us so.
Well,
and don't think to us that we weren't telling you so beforehand, and you're welcome. Thank you later.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what I feel as far as a lot of this goes. Now, the components to it, I think it's a whole mishmash of things. And Mark, you know, you're the fungal component. There's a whole bunch. And like Candy says, it's a soup for day. What soup? How do you say that, Candy?
Toxic soup mix of the day.
Toxic soup mix of the day. And that's, it's different. And it changes. Somebody does. We always say they, but we don't know exactly who they are, but we have a good idea of where they are or coming from. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely, it's a poison cocktail that they have put into us, and we're dealing with. That's why you can't do one thing for too long. You got to hit it up with different remedies. Nothing works too long with this thing.
Yes. And Candy, speaking of remedies, Candy's had a really good experience with her face and the Altua.
There we go. I can get up close.
People, and I know you can see Mark. I'll have to look later if you get a chance. But she has been stripped of that thick biofilm that was just literally, it just was so painful and so. It's like I don't know. I mean, it turned back time on top of night and day. It's a game changer, guys. It's a game changer. So, and Mark, if you haven't got it yet, like you said, from cancer before and after, it is unbelievable. And I'm getting there, but you have to go through like Excel to pull the code out. Like right now, I've got lots of things on my trying to.
You guys, I got my phone. Hold on a second. I'm gonna have to call back and put my battery on this phone.
Sure.
For some reason, this phone's not charging. I have another flip phone. I have to take the battery. I got to call you back in 2 minutes.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, I'll call you guys right there.
Bye. So, yeah, but like I said, that's amazing.
My face is so smooth, and I had like lumps. I had lumps and nodules and all kinds of crap all built up, especially around my temples. It's all gone, and I'm like, yeah, still got some stuff going on, but oh my God, I'm like 90% better using that. What'd you call it? Altura mold detox. I'm like, but I've had to put it on my legs because I've had a severe breakout on my legs. But I'm sure it's from detoxing, when putting the stuff on my face, it's like moving down and out. See if I can show y'all my legs, but they're pretty messed up. Let's see if I can see them. See that? Let's see if I can get, yeah, they're pretty rawled up. Let's see if I can get this one up. That's scarring from the Morgellon stuff. But anyway. Are we still on? Yeah, I'm going on, I don't know if I'm still on or not. I can still see comments. I don't know if Lisa dropped, but can y'all hear me at all? Melinda said, yeah, it's usually on Lisa's end. Okay, so can y'all hear me? Can anybody hear me? Okay, thank you, Kat. Yeah, so actually, I've had a lot of success with that mold detox. My skin is so soft. And first, I'm on week 5 now, but it was like, oh my God, that stuff was like moving down my face, and it collected all in my jawline. My jaw was swollen and had all kinds of biofilm weeping out, and it was burning my skin, and I was just raw, and it was just so painful. But all that's gone now. I've got little tiny pieces of biofilm still coming out that dries up and flakes off, but it's not near as painful. But it has moved down into my legs, and I've had some gastrointestinal issues, which I'm sure after doing this for 4 weeks, it's like absorbed into my skin. And so because it absorbs through your skin, it gets into your bloodstream, and yeah, it's working its way into my body, and I've been feeling pretty rough, but I've been hanging in there doing it. And then don't know what happened to Lisa. Y'all said y'all can still hear me, so I can
Here.
Hi.
Yeah. I believe it or not, my computer says goodbye on me. Actually, I murdered it. So I'm here, but I just think it's amazing. Like, it's night and day, and it is a game changer, guys. Yeah. It really is. I mean, look at her face. You guys saw her picture last week. I know you did.
My old picture, let me see if I can pull it up. Because the nodules were so thick, and they were, oh my God, my face, it was just so, it's such a wreck. I'm just so proud of how far I've come, you guys. You just can't even imagine the hell I've been through. It's like,
I totally am so proud of how far you've come to. It is amazing. It's an amazing difference. And I looked at pictures of myself and how bad I was not long ago, and I was shocked. I was just like, how? I mean, how do we get through this? Like, how have we? And you know how we have, by the grace of God. I mean, that's why. Here, let me put that all the way up. Hold on. I mean, that's a big, huge difference, guys. It's unbelievable. I mean, and I'm going to bring the link up in a second to show you all how to actually get to the website for this, but what the heck is going on?
That was the other
My
side.
phone hates me. Did I mention that?
That was the other side of my cheek.
Okay, so yeah, that's just, I mean, like, look at the difference, guys. This is a total game changer. So I'm going to screen share here in a moment and show you guys how you can go about ordering this. And Simon, I want to thank you for coming up with such an amazing product, because look at this. This is Simon, that's the gentleman's name that struggled with the mold toxicities and with his daughter, and he went to great lengths to figure this out. But look at that, guys. It is unbelievable. And I mean, that is like proof is in the product, not the pudding, although it could be there too. It's just unbelievable. I mean, that is just seriously. So I'm going to show you guys here in a second. We got hello, Mark. We got Mark back with us here. That's okay.
My other battery is dead. So here's what happened. I have two identical cables. One doesn't work, the other one does, but I use the other one to charge the other battery. I just realized that my charging cord does not work. So the battery is dead. So this seems like the line on it. So I don't know how long this
Yeah, okay. All right. So that sounds good.
Charger cord tomorrow.
I hear you. We're gonna make this quick anyway because I know both of us have things that we have to do. So this is the website, guys. This is what we're looking at here. As far as the website to order this product on, and like I said, I'm not getting paid to do an announcement or advertisement. I literally am showing this because I am using it. Candy's using it, and we're showing you because it works. It flipping works. So just so we're square, we're not getting a dime off of this. We believe in this product so much, you have no idea. So the website, if you type in moldtx.com, and it stands for detox, but there's no E in there. So moldtx.com. If you go into that field, it'll bring up Altuo. Altuo is a mold detox site. So it'll bring you straight to the site, which you'll see at the very beginning. No, it's not all in your head, and it gives we had all the mold toxicities that his young daughter, I believe she was 5 at the time, got horribly ill. And black mold, in my idea, in my mind, is no different than black goo or the programmable matter. I think there is a very, very closely related thing going on there. I'm gonna just leave it at that. It's extensive and deep, but I mean, let's put it like this: everyone's starting to notice that stuff. I've watched it manipulate, change forms right in front of my eyes. I was watching a cop show channel. I love watching cops, but there was actually it wasn't. It was showing the druggies downtown that are in Philadelphia and how they're all pretty much out of their minds. But there was one guy that was actually, he's like, and they asked him why, and he's like, because I started seeing things. My family thought I was crazy, and they go on to ask him what he was seeing, and he's like, there's this black substance. It's everywhere. It's literally everywhere. I've seen it in schools. I've seen it on the ground. And he goes into details about how he's watched it change shapes. He's watched it take over. He's watched it inside human beings, like creep up people's legs. And I'm just sitting there looking at him like, this whole wide world is watching this right now, laughing at this dude, right? Just laughing hysterically. And I'm sitting here like, he ain't lying. He is not lying. And I say he ain't lying because I'm in Texas, so that is not proper grammar, but you get what I'm saying, he's not lying. It just hit me like a ton of bricks. So back to the subject though, here was the Altool mold detox. This is what the lotion looks like here. It's $40, guys. This jar is huge. I mean, Candy has hers still like almost full. Mine is almost full. So yeah, order it. I mean, I'm just gonna tell you, if you can, order it because it is amazing. So, what do you think, Candy?
I want to show them mine in a pump bottle.
She added hers to a
I had it actually sitting right
Mark,
beside
I
me.
haven't had a chance to try it. Good stuff.
Yeah, I question about the
Yes.
So,
So the gentleman was actually on one of the I saw him on one of the pages, and he was actually asking for volunteers that would like to try it. He was looking to see if it was actually effective on Morgellons. And of course, Candy being pretty much the poster child for it, and myself being, big guinea pig. So we offered to go ahead and try it. And we, with the exception, we had to keep him updated, and as our progress and pictures, and keep like a little video diary and whatnot. So, which we both have done, because he was trying to see if it was effective on, because they believe that they have just mold toxicities, him and his daughter. But his daughter was more severe than him. And if you go to that site, you can actually read up on it. And it actually touched my heart. You could tell he was very, very sincere. But also, whenever you try a product like we did, as basically we're human guinea pigs, we'll flat out say it. So yeah, we volunteered and kept the video diary. We didn't have to spend a dime. It was like, a proven fact that we were just sitting there as guinea pigs when we're trying it. And he flat out says, I'm not a doctor. I cannot tell you anything, very honest, open. But if you want to try it, I'll send it to you. And this was at the beginning, because I want to see if this is effective. Well, guess what? Guys, it's effective, so much so that I'm getting ready to purchase a second bottle or a third and a fourth as soon as I can, because I'm going to have this on hand. It is amazing. Yes, and actually it's on his site as well, but I will do this real quick. I'm going to
I am actually considering the pills.
Yeah, I just told Simon that the other day when I sent my video diary. I said, I want the internal now. I want the internal. And so he has the regular also that is like a vitamin, but it's the pill form. So I'm going to remember the ingredients, and some of them I may not, probably won't pronounce correct. It's 14. Which, one second, I got to put Candy's volume down just a bit because it's backlashing. But so it has 14 botanicals and the ingredients.
Lisa.
Okay. So the first ingredient is cinnamomum cassia, which is twig. The second one is like Amarena asphodiliotis. Wow, they made these words up for people like me to just look like an idiot when I said them. The third one is like Tunia cordata, which is herb. So it's HOTTUYNIA CORDATA cordata. So, and number the Artemisia anu, which is an herb also. I'm not going to try to pronounce it right or spell it, but it is on this website. So the fifth one is Phoeniculum vulgare, which is a fruit. The sixth one is Eugenia which is a flower bud. And underneath, there's a whole full description of each of these guys, but we would be here all night if I were to read them, and I'm sure on the television. So we've got number 8 as Xanthium cibricum, which is also a fruit. We've got number 9 is Ligusticum sinensis root. And then number 10 is Curcuma longa, which, wow, like these words. Number 11 is, it could be curcuma longa. So it's a plant source of turmeric, basically. So, then we have a Chorus totternaui rhizome, and has many names and a long history use in both Ayurvedic medicine and them for use in candida infections. So then there's also the Cerulea corifolinia. I don't even know, guys. I don't know. It's a fungal. It helps to treat fungal skin diseases, depression, menopause. It supports immune system. It's got a fungi and mold component that it fights. Then we have the Glycyrrhizia urulina. I know I didn't say that right. Which is a powerful herb commonly used in medicine around the world to protect against stress, to support health. It says it has broad antimicrobial properties to it. Now, here's the good thing about this too. When he lists all of these ingredients, he actually traveled around. It got with Chinese herbalists and medicines people, and to find the most effective ingredients. And he didn't just go to one; he went to multiple, which is also in his backstory. So the very herb is called Schisandra chinesis, which is a fruit. It is also known as wuwezi, and one of the most commonly used herbs in traditional Chinese medicine, primarily to increase overall health and resistance to disease, supporting immune health and major detoxification systems. It's very effective in antifungal and fungal skin infections. It's effective against fighting fungal skin infections. So everything that he's got in this, he went through and struggled to and like drove to and Googled, and he researched up to find the most prominent, best ingredients and herbs, and he combined them to make what right now Candy and I are both using as very first with the Morgellons, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, and obviously effective hands down. Candy's had this over 20 years, hands down, night and day. Yes.
He did his homework.
He sure did.
Works, and if it's working for you guys,
walking testimony. And like I said, we were guinea pigs for it. But we volunteered.
That for people, if they wanted to, this is what a lot of people all did, as well as I did, and I believe put this in a semi-remission for me a number of years ago. But the product is called Candida Freedom.
Yes.
And are you familiar with it?
Yes, I am actually. Yes.
I even have my dogs on it.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Anything to fight the candida, but that especially it's a really good, strong, active component player in fighting candida, or not fighting. I'm sorry. Well, yeah, fighting candida. But I had something else I was just getting ready to tell you. Oh, the reason this guy too, that I just believe in it so much. If you're a parent, and you are a parent, Mark, and Candy's a parent, we all have girls, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. We know that we will go to the end of the world to make sure our children are better when ill. Can you imagine a 5-year-old child and deathly ill like we were, all of us, when especially when you're first at your sickest moment, and some of us more than others, but it's not even a competition. Even at your best moment, you guys know how hard this is. So if you have a 5-year-old child, right there, I was sold. Of course, I read the research too, but I would have paid whatever I had to pay, however I had to get the money at this point to get it, because it works. And we'd be lying if we said we haven't tried everything. We all try everything, and this is the most, in my opinion, one of the most effective, fastest working things that I have tried. And Candy, what's your opinion on that?
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt. I'm still like I'm still putting this stuff on my face, but I actually started trying to put it on my legs too, because my legs have been so messed up. But again, and Simon asked me, he said, why do you think it's affected your legs and your gastrointestinal system?
They're running from it.
Well, yeah, I've been putting on my face. I'm going on my 5th week now. Just started my 5th week. And I'm like, it absorbs through your skin. It gets into your body. And eventually it's going to get down into your gastrointestinal system. And like I said, I am thankful for whatever went in the toilet that did not make it to my legs, because I know there's a lot that went in the toilet.
I mean, and that's why I think I'm having like my neck is my issue this week, and I'm a few days behind you. But like I can't even tell you.
But it looks so much better. I mean, go full screen on you so we can see your neck because it looks so much better.
Oh, and it's actually still pretty bad. It was better before I started the stuff, but I don't know if you guys can see that. Like right now, it has like a hole in it.
Yeah, but
It's
again, just realize
bad when I started the stuff. It's worse now, so don't let that discourage you. It's
right.
worse now because it's drawing all the toxins to the top, and literally my body's expelling them.
Not only that, imagine what was up underneath your face, on your skin, on your face, and when you put this stuff on, and it's like pulling it down.
Yeah, no, and yeah, I've herxed before. So herxing is not fun. At all. And you know what little? There was another little podcast call-in channel. We talked about this, Mark, who used to actually make people herx right away, and he didn't say that at all. You're good. You're good, dear. You are correct.
There's some bad karma with this Morgella. It just seems like
everything and anything. We had problems coming on because of it. So you're right. It's not black magic.
I want to say something real quick before this dies. I am talking with my friend Rob, and I'm trying to get Dr. Carey McGray back on. So if I get her on my call, I would like you to have your podcast. You can do the call with Dr. Carey.
Would love to, please. Yeah, absolutely. I have a very strong admiration for the woman, and she has been through the ringer, fighting for us guys. So fighting for all of this.
If I get cut off, it's going to look worse.
All right.
Say thank you, good night, and good night to your audience and everybody. Listen, if you're not a believer, you have to start believing, because we are at the doorstep of the tribulation, or we are actually in the tribulation. Jesus said that no one knows the day or the hour, neither he nor the angels, only the Father in heaven knows. But Jesus gave many signs and symbols to watch for his second coming, and we're right there, guys. We're the things that are happening in this world are it's just getting worse by the day. You got to get in the good word of the Lord there and pray, and read Ephesians, put on the armor of God, and take on the day. Do not leave your house without putting on the armor of God.
Full armor, guys. Full armor. Amen, Mark. Thank you for that.
Amen, guys. Thank you for having me on. I look forward to speaking with you during the week, and we'll do this again. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. You have a blessed one.
Bye. Good night.
So give me something to believe in. Right? That's what we need to do, and we have it. We just got to believe. Candy, I want you to know I have something beautiful tonight. I'm like, you look so good.
Hear me?
Yes.
I have to share something. I have a friend. She's my Facebook friend, but she works at the Dollar General. And so I'm not going to say her name or anything, but anyway, I was in the Dollar General a couple weeks ago, and she had these like bumps on her face. And so I was like, so what's going on with your face? She said, this is like a childhood acne thing where I had acne severely, really bad, and it kind of flares up every now and then. And so I mentioned a few things to her that she could try. And so anyway, that was a couple weeks ago. So I seen her yesterday, and I said, your face looks great. I was like, so what did you do? She said, well, I have a friend that her husband is a dermatologist, and I called him and asked him if he would write me a script. And she said, so he said to me, he said, well, I can write you a script that's going to cost you a lot of money, or you can go to Dollar General and look on the shelf and get you a bottle of Afrin and put that on your face, and it will take care of the situation. And it's like $3. So she bought Afrin nasal spray and put it on her spots on her face, and it cleared it up. So I'm like, okay, well, that's a new one for me. I think I'm going to have to try that one. So anyway, yeah, I just wanted to share that with everybody. because
Wow.
I never heard of
Actually, guys, who knew? Oh, there I am.
the dermatologist actually told her that. So
That
interesting.
is awesome. That is good info. I have some Afrin. So yep, gonna be breaking in there. But yeah, guys, and keep in mind, just like with anything, even maybe this all too. I think this component to Morgellons, the major player factor there, obviously builds up immunity. It's smart. So just keep them on the toes and change it up.
Hey, I have something else too I need to bring up to you. I went and ordered one of those t-shirts and I paid for it, and I look on my PayPal and it says that I paid for it, but then I got an email that says that I still have an item in my cart. And I'm like, but it says I paid for it. And then when I look at my link,
every 14 people purchase.
huh?
They won't ship them out and complete the order until 14 people purchase. So until they do, they're either get like when February 12th, it's done. So they're going to either refund the money, and they'll have to just keep working it long.
Oh,
Anyway, I'm not making it done. I had to design it, and they had to.
I was just kind of curious because it says there's only 21 days left, and I'm like, okay, and nobody's ordering. I'm like, I want the dang t-shirt, y'all. Off your butts and order these t-shirts because I want one.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And that was the cheapest way I could get them was by giving a reason, an awareness, so that we like if you order 14, we sell 15. I'm sorry, sell 15. Price is $20. If you sell, if you have people, like 30 people, so I think that's 15. So basically, how it works is the more you order, the price is down. So there's not profit margin to be made for this. It's literally going on in terms of people who order. But we started because I thought, well, surely we can get 20 people to order. And
everybody needs to understand that there's a deadline. There's a deadline on it. There's a deadline. Everybody needs to understand there's a deadline. So if you're going to order one, you need to get it ordered.
That's right. And again, we did have someone that was super nice and wanted to donate a little extra. You guys got to understand, like, we're not ever requesting it, but if it comes in, this is going towards care packages. People who can't afford shirts or might be the lucky one on our channel, like this one, for instance. We want to be able to draw a name every month and send out a T-shirt or a care package. We want to be able to do this for people that can't afford, or so any spare dime or dollar, it goes to Morgellons awareness and Morgellons afflicted individuals that are, in a situation or a portion of life that they can't do for themselves at the moment. So you're supporting yourself as a good cause by buying a shirt. You spread the word and someone else donates. You're supporting, number one, yourself and the awareness factor that when you walk through with a T-shirt this day that says Morgellons Warrior, people are going to be like, what is a Morgellons Warrior? It's going to get them talking, at least the wheels turning. And you got to understand, it starts with you. It starts with us. If we're not doing anything, nobody's going to know. And if you don't have the money, I don't need you to buy a shirt. I need you to use your mouth and spread the word. You don't even have to tell them to buy shirts. Just say, Morgellons is flipping real. And it's not legal until you use your mouth and your voice and be part of the change. You got to be part of the change.
The very least you can do is hit the dadgum share button, okay?
I mean, like share, and it's not that hard. And it's like I know there's so many people out there that, because I myself am guilty. I've seen people trying to sell their products, personal products, or things, trying to make a buck. Trying to make a buck. I mean, it's really sometimes. But you got to understand that some of them it costs them money to buy those products, and if they're effective and it works, sorry, but kudos to them and buy it, because it's not a big profit margin, if at all. And most of those people that, there's some, like I said, the ones I got angry with, those people shouldn't have been there. They didn't even have Morgellons. Didn't even know. There are some people that They're putting their heart and souls. It's not like, you know how much time it takes to make like Elaine Kyle's packs or Candy Nelson's care packages, and the shipping is not cheap.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say. Anybody that's ever got one of my dead gum packages, you know I've been there. Okay.
Packed full. I mean, she does stuff around, and I want to be able to help her with shipping it. And I also want to. I have products too that I make. I want to be able to contribute as well. These T-shirts, if we could throw a T-shirt in a care package, or someone that really just doesn't understand. Like we have viewers on here, right? Because I have my YouTube channel. Literally a wide variety of topics. So not all of my viewers have Morgellons. Well, they have it. They just don't understand that they do. That's a whole different thing. But the thing is, guys, if you guys would just, I'm going to draw. And if your name's on there, you're going to get a shirt. And by gosh, I need you to wear it. I need you to wear it. These shirts are awesome. They're cheap. And yes, Candy, I will try to get one in red and green. Yeah, if I start throwing in colors, then they charge like one t-shirt at a time, which was like $40 or $50, I think is what it is. So.
Yeah, but look at these earrings. You know what they say? These are awareness earrings. It says, these two say, no DOP, it's real. I made these, okay? So yeah, these things can go in care packages. And I've got some larger ones that I make into keychains that say, waking God's child, Morgellons disease. It's like, holy crap, man, we can do things. Everybody can do things. Everybody just needs to do a little bit.
Move mountains. She's right. We can move mountains. There's so much we can do to make a change. You guys have no idea. Things that doesn't take a dime for some of us. I mean, if your voice is the most powerful weapon as well as change that you want to be seeing that you have, it is a pleasure and it is more valuable. Money cannot buy your voice.
Yeah.
Or your finger to click share. Can't do that either. Easy things. You want to do your part? Start with that.
Hey,
it's okay though.
let me tell them about the lady at the pool league. So guys, okay, I have been like, there's a lady on my pool league. I don't see her all the time, but we had a tournament a couple weeks ago. Well, about 3 or 4 months ago, she says to me, she's like, I saw you on a YouTube podcast. She's like, I couldn't believe it. She saw the one where I was like, had put all the products in the backpack and was dumping them out and telling everybody what I do with it. And she's telling me, she's like, I couldn't believe you had all that stuff and what all you do with it. And so she and I got to talking about Morgellons. So I told her, well, about 4 weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, we had a tournament and she was there. So she brings up to me, she's like, oh, your face looks amazing. She's like, what are you doing? So she brings us up in front of other people. So I told her about the mold detox stuff that I had been using. She's like, oh, she's like, I've just watched you over the years. She's like, you've been through so much and you've been so traumatized and all the things you've done and you've come so far. And I just can't believe that everything you had to go through. And so other people are like, okay, what's going on? So they start asking questions and she's telling them about the stuff that's going on with me. And I'm like, okay, that felt pretty good. I had like outside support. So last weekend, I had a ladies' pool league that I do once a month. And she was there. She said, are you still using that stuff on your face? And I said, yes. She said, your face looks amazing. And so people coming out and they're like asking, what are you talking about? What are you doing? And I explained to them and they were like, what are you treating? And she's like, she starts telling them. She starts talking about chemtrails and that it's in the chemtrails and they're spraying it on us and it's in our food supply. And this one lady was like asking her, now I'm standing there on the sidelines watching these two have a conversation. She's asking her, she's like, well, why does she get symptoms and we don't have symptoms? She's like, because her body's rejecting it. Ours are adapting to it. I told
Okay,
Lisa,
hello, right there. Ding, 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 we have a winner.
this woman's face almost, she just gasped for air and she almost fell off her feet because she realized it's like we're all eating the same food and she's rejecting it and we're not.
There you
Oh,
go.
and so I told Lisa, I was like, oh my God, this woman that's doing this is like just, she like brings up those trigger points and she doesn't even have this, guys. But she has been so supportive of me in like a broad setting and just like not, I mean, just putting the spotlight on what the hell is going on. And I haven't even had to ask her. She just did it. And I'm just like, so she's like my partner in crime right now. And I'm just absolutely loving her. Okay. So I'm like, yeah, it is very awesome. And I was like, man, what can I do for her? You know, just to just show her how
Here's
much
a
I
t-shirt. I'm getting her a t-shirt. That's what I'm gonna do.
she told me, she's like, well, you know, I'm not hardly on Facebook or anything. She's like, but I just happened to see your YouTube channel. And I'm like, hey,
Awesome. That is so cool. I love
it
it.
was wonderful. And I was like, so she got people engaged in asking questions and understanding. And I was like, thank you, God. I just thank God for my blessings. I have so many, you know, I really do.
Yeah, amen. When we all do, we got to remember to look for them. They're there. They're there, guys. And honestly, the gift, because you're spitting it out. Yes, it sucks. It's very confusing. Do you know what? We were told that we would see times. It was written thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. We can't act surprised, and we still neglect because we're not keeping the component in. I'm sorry, if I like anything like my family, they've been acting. I would rather not be here because that, and they're starting to wake up. So I really should change that overall. And my sister asked questions, oh, and more than she's ever asked questions. She's starting to ask me things and show me things. And she's the one that showed me about Dr. Carrie McGay. So don't give up hope. Don't give up on your families. Don't give up on anyone. But be blessed, stay blessed, and know you're blessed because you are expelling a very, very, very severe, big time toxicity, poison, whatever you want to call it, affliction, and you're expelling it. And your body hurts. That's why it hurts. And that's why you go through the symptoms of exhaustion and brain fog and aches and pains. That is why, because your body's throwing it out where it's had so many years of having the buildup in there that when your body gets in the mode of acceptance, sort of, but when the rejection starts, and then you start protocols and topicals and internal, you are going to hurt, and that's what Mark was saying earlier. And hurting sucks.
Okay, and hurts is spelled HURTZ, not HER, HUR.
It's easy. It hurts. That's a frequency, guys. But I mean, you're gonna hurt, and you're gonna hurt, and you're gonna hurt. So that's three there. So that we just did that, Candy. Yeah, I mean, so no, but for real though, it's frequency related too. So there's a lot to it, and I'm sure that Candy Griffin Walker's energy clearing protocol would be wonderful. I would love to have been there. Not gonna happen. Don't have an invite, but things like that I'm sure are so healing and so good. And I would recommend everyone trying any and all on the level of the honesty that you see in some of the groups. Not all of them, because I've seen some that were horrible and not kind of naughty. But I mean, those kind of things, when they're talking about energy clearings and healing frequencies, or blocking hats and EMF blocking hats, EMF, like all of these things are very much a part of this. So listen to them. We don't have to all be on the same understanding level, but those are components that are important. And I'm jealous I wish I was going to be Candy's thing. I'm going to be sad, but I'm going to be happy too because it really needs there are there. So much of it. I'm going to be holding one soon with Candy Nelson. We're going to be Morgellons, not a reunion. We're going to have a reunion, and I'm looking for the place right now to host it so that not just one or six can come, everyone can come. And I don't care if we bring tents. You know, we're going to figure it out. So, we're going to figure it out. Snap. Anyway, so I'm going to leave you guys. Anything you'd like to add?
No, just and again, guys. I mean, I know it's hurtful when your family don't recognize what's going on, but like I told Lisa, one of my daughters, has treated me so very negatively for so long. She actually called and apologized to me about a month or so ago, and I'm just like, she's like, "Oh, Mom, I'm so sorry. I treated you so badly for so long." And so, yeah, they do come around. If they love you, they will come around. They will.
I don't hear those words from any of my children or any of my family members. So I'm going to believe in your words because so far, no cigar. So they just think I'm just like, oh, Lisa, she was a bad egg. But guess what, guys? I was actually hard boiled, but I was solid.
So, I mean, I'm just saying, it's like, there's so many times we just want to say, I'm done with them. But you know what? What are we fighting for? We're fighting for them. So even if they turn their backs on us, if you know they love you, they will. They'll come around. Just please hang in there. Don't give up on them. That's what we're fighting for.
And if they do give up on you, you're still freaking loved, right? You are loved. You have us. We love you. You are so loved, and you're so important, and you're so valuable. You have no idea.
Well, and they're what we're fighting for. So even if they turn their backs on us, and I love what Sheila says. You know what? They didn't promise to love us. We brought them into this world. We promised to love them.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
I also love what Sheila says. We're not of this world. We're not of this world. We're in this world, and it's true, guys. And you are here for a reason. You have a job to do, and it's not a job that's hard. And no, you're not going to get paid for it. It's a job that's so important, so valuable, and it should make you love your job because it's called waking people up, uniting and loving, and unconditional love is what we're all learning. And we're especially learning the compassion and the sympathy, because when you don't get that, and when you're not shown that, for a fact you don't ever want to see someone hurt like that. How we felt all the time. It hurts so deep. You're so strong, or you wouldn't be here right now. So freaking strong. You were born for times such as this. We're in the house. We are warriors. Yes, Miss Candy, we are, right? Look at this woman. She is there. She is the best, biggest warrior ever. I love her. I mean, I love you all. You guys are warriors.
hey, because I know exactly who I am. I'm Rosemary's granddaughter.
She's Rosemary's granddaughter, dang it. Don't you forget that.
Oh my God.
I literally, I'm going to go to bed crying again tonight thinking about okay, like, my arm hair, like the chills, you have no idea. I was just like, I had to take myself down. You guys
I knew. I was like, oh my God, Lisa's going to die when she hears this email.
Unbelievable. I'm just like, that's everything I said to you. Like, what in the world is going on?
Yeah,
you guys can't tell me that.
And that was years before I even met you. Well, that was years before I even met you. So,
I'm like, that's the weirdest part. And the lipstick and the said, I'm like, blue eyes, red lipstick. You're talking about my grandma. Yeah, she's a shit out of Hydrolite. I'll never. I still to this day I can hear the words so clear and crisp in my mind. It's like she's a fighter like me. See, I'm put up with no nonsense. She's a fighter like me. And I mean, anyway, she was just a feisty little thing. I could see it, like so vivid. And I got one, like I have chills. So when people say that they can do things, I don't necessarily believe in like getting the cards out and saying like, okay, Simon says flip the ace over, whatever. I mean, not knocking it, just not into it. I think when we listen to our heart, it's a God thing. It's a God thing. God tells us what we need to know. God works His ways in His ways. So yeah, so weird. Anyways, all right, guys, I love you guys very, 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 very much. And we are here for you. We are in the fight. And the next quote's going to say, in the fight. I got a tattoo on my body and was like, oh, tattoos are bad. I'm like, not as bad as the freaking roller up your sleeve. Everything on my body has a message. I'm not saying go out and do that, but we're in the fight. We're in the fight, people. We are amazing, wonderful, strong, strengthful individuals with so much love and compassion in our hearts. How could you not be happy with yourself? Like you are amazing. You're amazing people. And you are going to get through this. And you're probably going to be the reason as to why other people get through this. She's one that's gotten so many through it just by being a shining example right there. And I love her so much. All right, dear. I'm going to say goodnight. Goodnight. Okay, though.
Everybody.
So we're good.
Good night.
Good night, guys. Sweet dreams. I'm trying to end it.